What if the breakfast you've trusted for years, the one you thought was safe, normal, maybe even healthy, was quietly undermining your vitality as a man? It's a sobering truth, but one that far too many men over 60 are discovering when it feels almost too late. I'm Dr. Mojit Kara. Over the past 30 years, I've walked alongside thousands of men, helping them rediscover not just their performance and confidence, but their sense of wholeness and intimacy. And one of the first places I invite them to look, their breakfast. Most men don't realize how powerfully that first meal of the day shapes your hormonal rhythm. Yet we've been guided down the wrong path, sold sugary cereals, processed meats, and so-called healthy choices that are, in reality, disrupting testosterone, inflaming blood vessels, and strangling the very circulation your manhood depends on. And it's not just about intimacy. These foods are slowly robbing you of your energy, clarity, and sense of inner strength. But there is good news. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 7 most harmful breakfast choices when it comes to erections, and more importantly, what you can choose instead to nourish your hormones, open your circulation, and restore that vital sense of being fully alive in your body. Stay with me, because at the end, I'll share a simple morning drink-on I give many of my patients that acts like a natural spark for your masculine energy. Now, before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on, so you don't miss future insights designed for men like you who refuse to give up their strength and dignity. Let's begin with perhaps the most deceptive and damaging item on the list. A breakfast staple that seems comforting and familiar, but may be doing quiet harm with every bite. Processed meats like bacon, sausage, and ham. Processed meats, bacon, sausage, ham. For generations, bacon and sausage have been iconic morning comfort foods. They're warm, flavorful, and for many men, deeply tied to routine and memory. But if you're past 60, it's important to understand something crucial. These meats may be quietly undermining your sexual vitality. Highly processed meats like these are packed with saturated fats, sodium, and nitrate chemical additives meant to preserve flavor and shelf life. But inside your body, they tell a different story. They inflame the delicate lining of your blood vessels, suppress nitric oxide, and over time, choke off the healthy blood flow that erections depend on. While these foods may be rich in flavor, the compounds they carry are quietly harming you from the inside. They inflame the fragile lining of your blood vessels and severely diminish nitric oxide, the very molecule your body relies on to initiate and sustain an erection. And as the years go by, your vascular system becomes even more vulnerable to this kind of silent damage. I've seen this pattern time and again. A man walks into my office concerned, discouraged, wondering why his morning firmness has vanished, why intimacy feels more effortful, and why his confidence seems to be fading with each passing day. And one of the first things I ask, what do you usually eat for breakfast? When processed meats show up on the menu, I already have a good sense of the path we're on. These foods don't just put your heart at risk, they restrict the very flow of life that empowers your masculinity. They harden arteries, build plaque, hinder circulation, and suppress testosterone, laying the foundation for erectile dysfunction to slowly creep in, unnoticed at first, until one day, that spark doesn't return. But here's the hope. You're not stuck. Shifting just a few simple things like replacing processed meats with nourishing proteins such as eggs, wild-caught salmon, or even a handful of raw nuts can dramatically enhance blood flow and hormonal health. The body is always listening, and when you feed it what it truly needs, it responds soften faster than you expect. And if that surprises you, wait until you hear about the next so-called healthy breakfast item that might be sabotaging your testosterone. Sugary breakfast cereal 7. The ones labeled healthy. They line store shelves in colorful boxes, filled with comforting promises, heart healthy, whole grain, low fat. It's easy to believe you're making a wise choice. But for men over 60, these cereals are among the most misleading and harmful foods you can start your day with, and they could be quietly draining your ability to perform. The real danger? The sugar often hidden under layers of branding. A bowl of granola, Raisin Bran, or even fiber-rich cereal can contain more sugar than a candy bar. And when that sugar floods your system first thing in the morning, it sends insulin soaring, disrupts your hormones, and sparks systemic inflammation. The outcome? A sharp drop in testosterone and a slow, steady reduction in the circulation you need for firm, lasting erections. I once worked with a man in his late 60s who ate a healthy cereal every morning paired with skim milk. He was exhausted, on edge, and hadn't experienced a solid erection in months. We tested his hormone level. His testosterone was dangerously low, so we made a change. We removed the cereal and replaced it with a protein-rich breakfast, adding in healthy fats too. Within 4 weeks, his energy surged, and so did his confidence in every area of life. These cereals may be marketed for convenience, but what they're truly doing is depleting your strength from within. That quick sugar high might last a few minutes, but the crash that follows can throw your entire day off course, especially when it comes to your hormonal balance and sexual vitality. Over time, this repeated cycle chips away at your energy, your drive, and your sense of self. If you're ready to change that, start by replacing those sugar-laden bowls with true nourishment, a breakfast rich in protein, healthy fats, and fiber that help stabilize hormones and support healthy circulation. Your body will respond, and your partner will feel the difference too. And speaking of circulation, there's one more common breakfast item that many still believe is healthy, but it may be quietly clogging your arteries, one sip at a time. You might have had it just this morning. Let's break it down. 3. White bread and bagels. For many men, a couple slices of toast or a bagel with cream cheese seems harmless, comforting even. It's a quick fix, familiar, filling. But if you're over 60 and noticing a drop in your performance, it's worth taking a closer look at what's really going on after that first bite. White bread and standard bagels are made with highly refined flour, stripped of their fiber, stripped of their nutrients, leaving behind a food that rapidly turns into sugar in your bloodstream. This causes a spike in insulin, which then fuels inflammation and sets off a hormonal chain reaction. The result? Lower testosterone, less nitric oxide, and over time, weaker, less frequent erections. I've seen this play out in real life. One man in his 70s came to me feeling sluggish, disconnected, and uninterested in intimacy. His go-to breakfast? A morning bagel. When we swapped it out for more nutrient-dense foods, think oats, sprouted grains, or pasture-raised eggs, his energy returned, and so did his desire. White bread may seem innocent, but it's far from it. These carbs contribute to insulin resistance, hardened arteries, and added belly fatal, of which block healthy blood flow, especially to your most vital areas. And the worst part? This damage creeps in quietly, over years, until one day you realize that your spark has faded and your strength has slipped away. But it's not too late to change course. Choose smarter carbs. Pick foods that energize your system, not drain it. With every nourishing choice, you're protecting your circulation, supporting your hormones, and reclaiming your sense of vitality. And while breads may be a quiet drain, there's one more common item that feels refreshing, but is actually sugar in disguise. And it's likely sitting right in your fridge. Let's uncover it next. 4. Store-bought orange juice. At first glance, store-bought orange juice seems like the perfect way to start the day, refreshing, bright, and full of vitamin C. For years, it's been marketed as a healthy breakfast essential. But if you're a man over 60, that morning glass might be doing far more harm than you realize. In truth, it could be quietly undermining your vitality and your erections. Here's what most people don't know. Drinking commercial orange juice is not the same as eating a whole orange. During processing, almost all of the fiber is removed, the very thing that helps slow the body's absorption of sugar. What remains is basically liquid sugar, full of fructose that rapidly enters your bloodstream. That sugar rush spikes insulin, disrupts hormones, and over time sends testosterone into decline. I've had patients come in complaining of fatigue, weight gain, and fading sexual drive, only to be surprised when we pinpoint their morning orange juice as a major contributor. That sugar surge not only lowers testosterone, but also injures the fragile lining of your blood vessels, limiting nitric oxide production and circulation, both essential for a healthy, lasting erection. And don't be fooled by labels like no added sugar or 100% juice. Even these are still highly concentrated in natural sugars. Drinking them on an empty stomach is like throwing gasoline on a fire. The crash that follows can leave you drained, foggy, and disengaged for the rest of the day. The encouraging news? Simple swaps make a difference. Try warm lemon water, a cup of green tea, or a small glass of diluted pomegranate juice. These options hydrate your body while supporting blood flow and hormonal health. But while juice is a hidden sugar trap, the next item on our list might be even worse. It's a mix of sugar and processed fatan. While it looks harmless, even funits quietly among the most damaging foods for your manhood. You've probably had one with your morning coffee. Let's uncover the truth. 5. Donuts, muffins, and breakfast pastries. Sweet, easy, familiar. For many men, grabbing a donut, muffin, or toaster pastry in the morning is a daily habit, especially with a warm cup of coffee. It feels like comfort, but it may be costing you more than you think. If you're over 60 and still starting your day with one of these sugary treats, here's the hard truth. These pastries might be one of the worst things you can eat for your sexual health. And you might not even realize it. It's not just the sugar, it's the dangerous combo. Highly refined flour, industrial oils, artificial preservatives. Together, they create a hormonal wrecking ball. What happens next? A rapid spike in blood sugar, then a sharp crash. Your energy tanks, your hormones destabilize, and your body's ability to sustain healthy testosterone and blood flow begins to slip away. These pastries also contain trans fats and inflammatory oils, the kind that damage blood vessels, disrupt nitric oxide, and restrict circulation to the areas where it matters most. But here's what's even more concerning. These pastries often contain trans fats and inflammatory oils, the kind that silently damage your arteries, limit circulation, and disrupt nitric oxide, the critical molecule that powers healthy erections. I remember one man in his early 70s who confessed that a muffin had been his daily treat for years. He thought it was harmless, yet he hadn't experienced a full erection in over 12 months. Once we took a closer look at his diet and removed that daily pastry, replacing it with whole, nourishing foods, something shifted. His blood pressure improved, his testosterone began rising, and slowly, his performance returned. These sweet morning rituals do more than satisfy cravings. They feed chronic inflammation, fuel belly fat, and trigger insulin resistance, all of which sabotage your sexual health. The hardest part? This damage accumulates gradually, making it easy to overlook until it's too late. If you're ready to take back control, start by swapping sugar and processed carbs for hormone-supportive foods like eggs, berries, or a protein-packed smoothie. Your future self will thank you deeply for it. And while pastries are certainly a threat, there's one more food that may be even more misleading. Many men made the switch thinking it was the healthy choice, when in fact, it could be one of the worst things you're spreading on your toast. Let's talk about it. 6. Margarine and hydrogenated oils. Not long ago, margarine was hailed as the smarter, heart-healthier alternative to butter. It was cholesterol-free, modern, and marketed as a nutritional upgrade. But if you're a man over 60, spreading margarine on your toast or cooking with hydrogenated oils could be quietly eroding your sexual vitality. Unlike wholesome natural fats that your body knows how to use, margarine is made with industrial trans fats and synthetic oils created to last longer on a shelf, not in your system. These man-made fats are infamous for harming your blood vessels, raising LDL, the bad cholesterol, lowering HDL, the good one, and gradually stiffening your arteries. And when blood flow starts to falter, especially in the smallest vessels like those in the penis, the first signs of trouble often show up in the bedroom. Erections weaken, frequency drops, and eventually, they stop altogether. One of my patients, a 68-year-old retired teacher, told me he used margarine every day, believing it was protecting his heart. But after years of fatigue, low desire, and sluggish circulation, we made a simple change. Out went the artificial fats, and in came natural options like extra virgin olive oil, avocado, and grass-fed butter. Within just weeks, he felt more alive. His energy rose, and Yeshi's erections returned with strength. Here's the key takeaway. Erectile health is one of the first places poor circulation reveals itself. Your penis is home to some of the tiniest blood vessels in your body. When they're blocked or damaged, performance suffers long before more serious symptoms appear. If margarine has been quietly damaging your arteries, you can be sure your erections are suffering the consequences, often long before your heart shows any warning signs. And just because it looks harmless doesn't make it safe. These synthetic ingredients operate beneath the surfaces, slowly undermining your performance, confidence, and overall quality of life. Now, while margarine chips away at your circulation, there's another common breakfast item that poses an even deeper threat. Found in many so-called light or healthy options, this one doesn't just affect your blood flow, it can actually shift your entire hormonal balance in the wrong direction. Let's take a closer look. 7. Flavored yogurt, even the low-fat kind. At first glance, flavored yogurt appears like a wise choice low in fat, quick to grab, and often marketed as good for your gut. But for men over 60, this seemingly wholesome habit may be doing more damage than you realize, especially to your ability to sustain strong, healthy erections. In truth, flavored yogurt is one of the most commonly overlooked threats to your manhood. These little containers are often packed with added sugars, artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and processed thickener substances your body was never designed to handle. That seemingly innocent vanilla or fruit swirl, it often hides 15 to 25 grams of sugar, enough to spike insulin, promote abdominal fat, and suppress your body's testosterone production. And when testosterone falls, so do desire, endurance, and your ability to show up with strength and confidence. What's worse, many low-fat or non-fat yogurts have removed the natural fats your body needs to absorb vitamins, balance hormones, and manufacture testosterone. In chasing what seemed like a better option, many men unknowingly stripped away the very nutrients that keep their manhood alive. I've seen it firsthand, men faithfully starting their day with a low-fat yogurt, believing they were supporting their health. Yet over time, their energy dwindled, their sex drive faded, their erections became inconsistent or disappeared altogether. But when we made the switch, trading the flavored, processed versions for full-fat plain Greek yogurt, topped with fresh berries and nutrient-rich seeds, things changed. Testosterone levels climbed, and so did their confidence. And here's a hidden danger that few suspect. Some flavored yogurts contain soy-based additives or milk from hormone-treated cows, both of which can subtly raise estrogen in men over time. That shift in hormonal balance can make it even harder to maintain healthy function and to feel like the man you once were. But now that you know the truth, you can make a better choice. Don't let clever packaging deceive you. Just because something is labeled as light or healthy doesn't mean it honors your manhood. Choosing whole, nutrient-rich foods can shift everything. Now that you've uncovered the truth behind the 7 most harmful breakfast foods silently draining your strength after 60, the real question becomes, what can you do instead? In the next and final section, I'll guide you through a straightforward, doctor-endorsed morning routine crafted to restore circulation, reignite testosterone, and awaken your vitality in a natural, lasting way. So stay with me. By this point, the truth is clear. Those innocent-looking breakfast choices may have been slowly undermining your health, quietly lowering testosterone, restricting blood flow, and dimming the fire within. But you're not broken. You're not too late. You've simply been misinformed about what healthy really means. You don't need a miracle supplement to reclaim your strength. You need fuel that nourishes you from the inside out. Real food, honest food, food that works with your body, not against it. After over 30 years of helping men restore their energy, performance, and presence, I can assure you change is possible at any age. The moment you begin your day with intention and the right support, you lay the groundwork for clarity, vitality, and connection that lasts beyond the morning. You deserve to feel alive again. You deserve to feel like yourself again. And it all begins with your next plate. So make the shift. Your best years are not behind you. They're ahead. If this message resonated with you, consider giving it a like. Share it with someone who may be quietly walking through the same struggle. And if you feel led, leave a comment. I read them all. And if you'd like to help us continue creating these messages for men who need real answers, your support means the world. Even a small donation can help us reach more men with healing, truth, and hope. We're in this together. Let's keep showing up. Let's keep choosing better. You're worth it.